You're doing it again. You're lying there, the weight of the blanket feeling less like comfort and more like a deadline you're refusing to meet. The phone is inches from your face, and the blue light is cutting through the darkness, bleaching the color out of your room and your eyes. Your body is heavy, but your brain is vibrating. You tell yourself this is me time. You tell yourself the world is finally quiet enough for you to breathe. You call this peace, don't you? But if it really was peace, you wouldn't need it every single night. If this was actually restorative, you wouldn't feel that spike of panic every time you realize the sun is only 3 hours away. You're not enjoying the silence. You're just holding your breath, hoping that as long as you stay awake, the future can't find you. It's easy to blame your genes. You've probably looked it up. You've read about the CRY1 mutation, the night owl gene that delays your circadian rhythm. You've told people, I'm just not a morning person, as if it's a fixed point in your soul, like the color of your eyes. And you're right. Scientists call it a delayed sleep phase. Your body is biologically out of sync with a 9 to 5 world. Melatonin doesn't flood your system until the early hours of the morning. For a long time, you use this as a shield. It feels good to have a label, doesn't it? It feels like permission. It's not a character flaw. It's a biological destiny. But let's be honest. If it were just biology, you'd feel rested when you finally woke up. You don't. You feel like a ghost haunting your own life. Biology explains why the door is open. It doesn't explain why you're too afraid to walk through it. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. Your biology is just the alibi for your psychology. You aren't staying up because you're a night person. You're trying to fix your entire life in the few hours the world isn't watching. You've lost control of your days. And now, you're performing a desperate midnight autopsy on your own sense of agency. You've heard the term revenge bedtime procrastination. It sounds like a quirk. It's not. It's a quiet, desperate rebellion. During the day, you are a product. You belong to your boss, your partner, your screen, your obligations. You spend 16 hours reacting to things. By 11 p.m., you are spiritually bankrupt. Staying awake until 3 a.m. is the only way you know how to feel like you exist. When you scroll, when you watch that video you don't even like, when you reorganize your bookshelf at midnight, you are chasing the illusion of control. For these 4 hours, time doesn't belong to the world. It belongs to you. But it's a counterfeit control. You aren't mastering your time. You're holding it hostage. You're addicted to the feeling of being awake while everyone else is asleep because it's the only time nobody can see that you aren't actually doing anything with your life. Let's go deeper into the why. You tell yourself you're exhausted because you stay up late. But the truth is more sinister. You stay up late because you want to be exhausted. Exhaustion is your greatest defense mechanism. If you go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. feeling sharp, focused, and energized, you no longer have an excuse. You would have to face the terrifying pressure of your own potential. You would have to actually try. But if you're always tired, if you're always running on a 10% battery, then nobody expects much from you. And more importantly, you don't have to expect much from yourself. Your late night habit is a strategic self-sabotage. You are keeping yourself in a state of permanent low power mode, so you never have to confront the fact that you're afraid of what you might be capable of if you were actually awake. It's easier to be a tired failure than a conscious failure. At 2 a.m., the real you comes out. Or so you think. You feel more authentic in the dark. You feel like a deep thinker, a misunderstood soul, a silent observer. But have you noticed that the real you never actually does anything? The night self is an ego trap. It's a version of you that feels profound without having to produce. It feels creative without having to create. You sit in the dark, marinating in your own potential, while the day self, the one that actually has to interact with reality, is left to suffer. If this was really helping you, why does your life still feel exactly the same? Maybe this started when you were 10. Maybe the night was the only time you felt safe from the judgment of your parents or the suffocating weight of your peers. You learned that safety meant being the only one awake. You learned that freedom was something you had to steal when the world wasn't looking. You're still that kid. You're still sitting in the dark, waiting for the authority figures of your life to fall asleep so you can finally feel like you have permission to exist. You haven't realized that you are the authority figure now, and you are being a cruel one. There is a biological reason for your vigilance. Our ancestors needed sentinels, the ones who stayed awake to watch the fire while the tribe slept. You are a descendant of the Watchers. But there is no fire to watch anymore. There are no predators in the bushes. So you've turned that instinct inward. You're watching your own anxieties. You're guarding a void. You're a soldier standing watch over a graveyard, waiting for an enemy that is already inside the gates. The world calls this social jet lag. You are living in a permanent state of internal friction. You feel guilty when you're awake and guilty when you're asleep. You've created a life where you are never fully on and never fully off. You are a ghost in the morning and a manic observer at night. This isn't a lifestyle. It's a slow-motion breakdown of your ability to participate in reality. You like to think there are two types of people: the seeker, who uses the night to build, to create, to think, and the escaper, who uses the night to hide. You've spent years telling yourself you're a seeker. You tell yourself you're processing or reflecting or finding yourself. But look at your hands. Look at your screen. Look at your life. If you were really using the night to grow, your days would look different by now. If this safe space was actually helping you, you wouldn't feel this hollow every time the sun comes up. The truth you've been avoiding at 3 a.m. is this: you aren't using the night. The night is using you. Hear that? That's the sound of your freedom ending. In a few hours, you'll have to put the mask back on. You'll drink your coffee. You'll complain about being tired, and you'll tell yourself that tonight will be different. But it won't be, because it was never about the sleep. It was never about the biology, or the quiet, or the me time. It was about the fact that you've built a life you don't feel the need to live, and you're spending every night quietly avoiding the responsibility of changing it. The screen is still glowing. The room is still dark. You can put the phone down now, but tomorrow is still waiting, and it's wondering when you're finally going to show up.